These are the decorative ones. And sometimes they make ink out of the color. Look at the color of the fruits. From the color they make ink. They're used for decoration purposes. Eat the other, they are from here to 1940, it was covered with soil, there's fields. So this farmer boulders was plowing his fields. So they started excavation work, so then an alternative field, of course, continued this work. It was taken over by the government during the First World War. So below 1 meter, 39 inches of soil, there's a thick layer of black ashy soil, then thick layer of white dust of ages, and then these copper age temples. There's a sign there, 3,100 before Christ, used in the year 2,500 before Christ. Pyramids of Egypt, 2,530 before Christ. Stonehenge, 2,000 years before Christ. And these, 3,100 years before Christ. But others, all rested and golden. 3,600 years before Christ. Hawaii and Elijah, 3,300 years before Christ. So always, you're going to say the earliest man-made, freestanding stone structures in the world. And the Horton goes on to discover the remains of 23 megalithic temples. 23 megalithic temples. Why did they build 23 temples for just 6,000, 7,000 people? It was not enough vegetation for more than 6,000, 7,000 people. Why? Don't know exactly why. Perhaps. Like nowadays, there's competition. Why do they build so many churches in Malta today? A church every corner, one more beautiful than the other. Perhaps even those days was competition. Who built the most beautiful temples in the neighboring area? Before leaving, I'll show you a map of Malta, all the sites where these 23 temples were discovered. And you could almost divide the island into three. It was competition in these three sections. And all the temples discovered on Malta, and we'll go to have the concave facade and the large forecourt. Look, so that only very important people only were allowed inside the temples. The common people had to remain outside. See,
Can't go see it.
sort of stone benches
Didn't leave
all
a space
around.
for these people to go past us.
Stone benches. Is a well. When the Arabs brought over soil to use it as filter, dug a well, of course, for their crops. And the stone benches are original, but the walls built out of small stones are not original. They were built in the 20th century by the British. Even the entrance is not original. The large stone look to the right, that shown you later on, is original, plaster. It's modern, but the large stones inside the temples are all original. And just so that people in these temples must have been peace-loving fishermen and farmers. They were peace-loving fishermen and farmers who probably used to worship their dead. Used to bury the dead underground. In Hybridum there is the same area. These temples, perhaps they used to bury the dead underground. Imagine how boring must have been to count 14,000 steps. 7,000 people were buried there. It was like an ossuary. And these sleeping lady found among the rubble there, among the fortunately found intact. So that people used to worship their dead, used to bury their dead underground. Then they built these temples to worship their ancestors. And perhaps later started venerating the mother goddess of fertility, because so many statues of fertility were discovered. Go to Museum of Archaeology in Valletta, you'll see the whole set of fertility. I won't show you one of them right here. So the class of archaeology, as you know better than me, we're going to be 100% dogmatic. Probably, perhaps. With regards to dating, we can be sure of right radiocarbon 14 method and then rock chronology. But what will happen, I would say perhaps, probably. So to build these temples, obviously the only thing not important was is local stone. This is the only raw material available all over. Because enough of this stone for the next 300 years. So for these people, it wasn't as difficult to find. They made use, 100% use of the stone available here. It wasn't as difficult as in Stonehenge in England, had to carry boulders from Wales. Long way down the river. Here they were quarries even 5 kilometers away, 3 miles away from it. There are quarries. It was not difficult to find the raw material, but still difficult to break off the huge blocks of stones. I'll show you to carry them with a vertical position. At that time, metal was not as yet invented. The wheel was not as yet invented. So probably to carry the huge blocks of stone, they used tree trunks, used to make ropes made out of wound ox leather. They just used those stone rollers, those original like stone soccer balls, to maneuver with the vertical stones, with the vertical position, to put the stones vertical position easier for them. But this really shows a communal organization of manpower and skill. They're very well organized. They're sort of architects who design the temples. They're the potters who make lovely pottery and the statues. The sculpture disaster show you later on, very well organized. And these were not influenced by any other civilization, because Stonehenge, pyramids of Egypt, Karnak, all were built later. These invented this themselves. And we always find the concave facade and large forecourt, so we're going to enter. Here we find a set of 3 temples sharing the same facade.
So do you see the big concave facade that we've got here? You can follow it from back where Maria was talking about this fig tree and all this big curve along here. It's big and it's monumental, huh? Clearly something important going on inside, and they want to attract your attention to it. And then these sites always have these big balls that Maria was talking about. And they usually think of these things as like ball bearings. You put the stones, the big giant stones, which are up to 20 tons, on top of those and roll them along. That's usually the idea for them. I personally find that very difficult. And when you get your 20-ton stones again, try it. Because it seems to me that the stones have to be equal sized. If one's smaller, it's not going to be effective. And also in this kind of a soil, it doesn't seem to me these stones are large enough to be able to push along. It would embed itself down, and that's all the further they would go. So what do they use those round stones for? Well, as Maria's been very good, I heard her before, very good about saying, we don't know the answers for lots of these things. My thought is that these are gifts to the gods or the ancestors. They like big round stones, and that's the reason we've got these here. I don't know, but it just doesn't seem to me that the ball-bearing explanation works for these.
Because they would have got crushed under the heavy.
Crushed, or if you've got 3 this size and 1 this size, it won't work. It doesn't work.
Plus, they're the same material, and with the heavier weight, they won't take it. Plus, it'll dig into the ground.
Perhaps they
It's
use
not
the
gonna
stone
roll.
rollers to follow. This is they use the tree trunks and ropes.
That would make more
Then for
sense.
this
That would
spot,
that makes
use those
sense.
stone rollers to put them vertical position to maneuver. Them more easily
could have been
perhaps.
all
Stone
lined
roll,
up
not
on
for long
top and
distances,
fell
but
off.
for the spot to maneuver them easily in a vertical position, to put them in the right position perhaps. Because this is